Alright, what's good everybody? It's your boy Akeem and welcome to today's vlog. Here to give you my top 5 running backs heading to the 2013 NFL Draft. I have a decent class for you guys this year. No big top 10 type players or probably even top 20 type players, but I still think we have some good running backs overall coming into this year's draft. Starting at number 5, I'm going to go with UCLA's Jonathan Franklin. He ended his career with over 1,700 yards rushing this past season. The new leading rusher in school history and career rushing yardage for the Bruins. This is a good running back. I like him a lot. He has good quick feet. He understands how to read his blocks, and he is one player who works well and getting to the outside. Now, dealing with the NFL, you can't really get too much try to run too much to the outside because of all the speed overall from the players in the National Football League. But I think he could do just fine. Now, a couple things that concern a lot of people is his blocking ability. He is not a good pass blocker. His cut blocks, he likes to throw his body a lot towards the defenseman and his oppositional players, and he ends up actually missing them completely. He needs to do a lot better in his pass blocking ability. Another issue that people are concerned is his ball carry security. He had 6 fumbles in 2011, and that's scaring a little bit of a concern for the NFL scouts and teams in the National Football League. But I still think he's a pretty good running back overall. The UCLA, one of the top schools in the history of college football, and he's their leading rusher. He had a great career as a Bruin. And number 4, another great running back, Wisconsin's Monty Ball. Now, I actually was going to put him in my top 3, probably number 2 running back overall, but he had a terrible draft, scouting combine workout. 4.6 40, he needs to increase a lot with that, and also he didn't do too well with the footwork, but he does have great footwork, and he has great ability to read his blocks and good cutback ability. I like his feet. He has light feet, can shift, pretty shifty, and I think he has good enough speed to compete against the players in the National Football League. That 4.6 40, I think he's a lot better than that 4.6 40, but overall he's a good running back. Now at number 3, this was a little bit of a disappointment to me. Andre Ellington for Clemson. The reason why this guy's a little bit of a disappointment to me, and I know you guys are a little bit shocked, is because I think this kid is a lot better than what he produced at Clemson. He had a great career as a Tiger. I think he's a great running back overall. He has the ability to break tackles, has a little bit of elusiveness, and set up defensemen in his angles and working with the angles for his cutback ability. He could catch the ball outside of the backfield. I think he's a great player overall, but he had to deal with some injury concerns, particularly a toe injury, and he had to deal with it for the past couple of seasons, and that kind of was a little bit of a setback. But he did have back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. But like I said, I think he's a lot better than what we saw in his career as a Clemson Tiger. If he could just carry the load and stay healthy, he is going to be a dangerous player in the National Football League. He just needs to work on his consistency as well. He'll have a big game, and then he'll be off the scenes for a couple of games and then have another big game. I really like Andre Ellington, and like I said, he's just a little bit of a disappointment to me because I see so much potential in this particular running back. He has great breakaway ability, good cutback, like I said, good agility. I think he's a great player overall. At number 2, I'm going to go with Alabama's Eddie Lacy. This guy is a big bruiser, well over 200 pounds, a powerful workhorse type of built running back, and I think he has great, patient running back, understands how to read his block and how to follow his blockers. Now, one thing that I'm a little bit concerned is sometimes when he makes his reads, he kind of makes bad decisions and where he will miss a couple of openings, but I still think he has good vision, overall good scanning ability, and he has shows some elusiveness and agility, which he did show a little bit in that national championship matchup. Also, another concern, he's an inconsistent blocker. He kind of sometimes doesn't really attack the defenders much, especially with his size, well over 250 pounds. He has the bulk, he has the muscle. He just needs to attack and believe in himself. He doesn't really attack defenders like NFL teams will like him to do. But I think he can improve in that. He was just headed towards his rookie season, and I think he has a lot of time to develop his blocking ability, and I think he could be a good workhorse number 1 running back for any team in the National Football League. And last but not least, at number 1, I'm going to go with UNC's Giovanni Bernard. He's a great all-purpose player, good hands, decent hands. He caught 490 yards receiving this season to go along with over 1,200 yards rushing, and he missed a couple of games in ACC play, and he is still one of the most prolific all-purpose players coming into the National Football League's NFL draft. He's a great player, quick feet, good lateral movements, and he's a successful pass blocker, mostly using cut blocks. He needs to do less of cut blocks though. I think if he just focused way too much on cut blocks, defenders are going to start understanding and start readjusting to his blocking ability. So he's going to have to do better technique and use more of his muscle and his body and different techniques to block defenders and pass blocking ability. But definitely he's going to be out catching a couple of screens and giving you some check releases of play ability. Now, another concern that people are worried about is that he did torn an ACL back in 2010, and he's still dealing with a little bit discomfort in that knee, but I think he's going to do well enough. I think if this guy is healthy, he will be a dangerous running back in the National Football League. Now, overall, like I said, I think these decent running backs are pretty good, and I also have a couple of honorable mentions to talk about. Joseph Randle out of Oklahoma State. I think he's a good speedster, a nice nifty guy who could get in between the tackles. Also, workhorse Stephon Taylor out of Stanford. He was a great running back, leading the Stanford Cardinal to a Pac-12 championship and a Rose Bowl victory. And Le'Veon Bell out of Michigan State. He's a good bruiser type running back. He will definitely be picked at least by the third round of this year's NFL draft. Now, for this year's sleeper running backs, I actually have two running backs to talk about. My first sleeper, I'm going to go with Zach Stacy out of Vanderbilt. Now, this guy is not great at one thing, but he is good at a lot of things. He's a good pass blocker, a good runner, and he can even catch the ball outside of the backfield. I think he's a little bit undervalued. And plus, he did play in the SEC Conference, and he rushed for over 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons for the Commodores. I know a lot of people, including myself, respects that. I think he's not getting enough respect though. He's a good running back. 216 pounds, 27 reps at 225 pounds. That means he has a lot of strength, and he runs a 4.55 40, decent speed, not too great, but good. Like I said, he's a great running back overall. Also, I need to talk about Kerwin Williams out of Utah State. He had well over 1,700 all-purpose yards this season, catching the ball outside the backfield and running the football. He has great speed, good breakaway speed, good enough, and great speed burst. Now, people are concerned about his size at 195 pounds, but we have seen over the years in the National Football, even the history in National Football, where the small guys can play every down. They can play full time, just like the big boys. He understands that, and he did well for this WAC team of Utah State. Good player, and he can even be a good, reliable player as a return specialist. I think he should definitely be selected in the later rounds, sixth round at the latest, fifth, sixth round selection. I think he's a good, valuable player, and I think a lot of people are keeping him under the radar. I think he's a lot better than what people say. Only thing people are concerned is his size at 195 pounds. Yes, he could bulk up just a little bit, but I think he would do good enough. He can even help you, like I said, as a return specialist. So those are my sleepers at the running back position. Now, the next time to catch you guys is tomorrow, where I will give you two top 5 presentations, give you my top 5 receivers and my top 5 tight ends. Thank you for watching today's blog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.